take on class 12 geography, chapter number 3, population composition. Already I sent you a video of 3 chapters. Today we'll take on chapter number 3. The name of the chapter is population composition. So in this chapter, basically people of any country is basically diverse in many respects. If you find we have so much diversity in India. Cannot be same everywhere. We have different cultures. We have different social backgrounds, and then we have other aspects also. Then we have every person is unique, mainly, right? If I call everyone is unique, every having its own style of living, everyone having its own culture. So how can people can be distinguished by one another? They can be distinguished through age. Then the person can be male or female from sex, and the place of residence a person belongs to. Which place a person belongs to? Some person belongs to Delhi, some person belongs to Bombay, whatever it is. So mainly all this one from one person to another it distinguish. So mainly population can be distinguished on the basis of occupation also. Someone are practicing primary activities, someone are practicing, they are working in some industry, someone working in some school, sometime like that. They can be differentiated according to education. Someone are degree holders, someone postgraduates, someone in school. And life expectancy. Life expectancy means कितने साल एक आदमी जीता है, normal life, right? So every country having its own life expectancy. If you have more resources, if you have spent more money on health facility, definitely, then life expectancy will be more. So in this, we are going to take first part of it, that is sex composition. Uh, Sex composition means what does it mean? Sex composition. We have number of women and men in a country. We have different number of women, different number of men. That makes demography of a country. तो हमारे देश में कितनी औरतें हैं, कितने मेन हैं, उस हिसाब से हमारी डेमोग्राफी बनती है. ठीक है. So how can you define sex ratio basically? So if I say ratio between number of men and women in the population is called sex ratio. आपका क्या ratio है men और women के बीच में? That makes a sex ratio, right? So in some countries there is a formula also to assess this. Mainly we have this formula: male population divided by female population, then into 1000. Okay, so that's it. So if I say in this way, number of males per 1000 females. Okay, so that's it. Then we have in India, if you take example of India, then we have sex ratio. We work with a different formula, right? Then female population into 1000, then male population, right? So here in this way we can take out sex ratio basically in India. So we can say in India, number of females per 1000 males. Okay. So sex ratio, why is it so important? Why sex ratio is important? Because it gives us the status of women. How many women are there in a country? So that gives an idea what type of demography we have in India, right? In a region mainly where gender discrimination is rampant, we come across in news this gender discrimination. They give more stress on boy child as compared to female child. Sex ratio is very unfavorable to India. This is not favoring. Some states having very less women as compared to males per 1000. If you compare, right, Kerala is number one, that is showing good results. The females are more as compared to males. Such a when I use this word that gender discrimination is rampant, to such area where the practice of female foeticide is there. This is a very wrong thing which we are practicing in our society, that is female forticide, female infanticide. Girl child को बचपन में ही मार देना, that's called female infanticide. Then domestic violence, we come across with so many news when we come across with domestic violence against women are very much prevalent in India, right? So this is some problems which India is facing at this moment, especially in this area. One of the reason how the status of women has been lowered down in some areas. They are not giving that social economic status as compared to males in some area. You must be remember that more women in the population does not means they have a better status. By chance, if you come across that women are more in population, that is not reflecting that they are getting better status. It may be, answer can be because men have migrated from that area to another areas. That may be the reason why you find more women in number. Otherwise, maximum areas India doesn't have where women are more in number. Then we have, on average, if you see world population, average of world population, if we'll take, then we'll see. Sex ratio lies around 930 females are there, and per thousand males. Okay, so that we can see in it. Some countries, now we will tell you where is the highest sex ratio in the world has been recorded, जहाँ पे females outnumber करती है males को. Name the country. So that is Latvia. Latvia is a country which was earlier part of USSR, and where it reflects very good result, where we find 1187 females per thousand males are there. So Latvia is a country where is we find that women outnumber males. Okay. In contrast, we come across with some countries where males are so much, males are very less in number. So can you name that country? It is UAE. So I'm talking about United Arab Emirates, where only 456 females are there per thousand males. So this is so much gap between male and female. So this is an example of disbalance of demography. Okay. Sex ratio favorable only to where sex ratio is favorable for males. We have a data in 139 countries of the world have favorable sex ratio, but maximum countries in the, if you see, 72 countries mentioned in United Nations that doesn't have favorable sex ratio. If you come and see in Asia, right, where you find a very low sex ratio in it. Okay, like if you take example of China, take India, we take Saudi Arabia, we take Pakistan, Afghanistan, we find very low sex ratio in it. Okay, on other extreme part, if you take Europe, if you compare Asia and Europe, then you find in Europe, including Russia also, right, males are in minority. It means that is favorable to females in these countries, especially in Europe, right. Deficit of female population in many European countries. Why is it so? Why female population is more in these countries as compared to males? That may be. So I told you what are the reason why there are deficit of males in the population, especially in European countries. The reason can be because in European countries better status has been given to women, and that was the reason why male dominated society is not there, right. Or males migrated from different parts of the world in the past. Maybe that's the reason why you find deficient of males in these areas, maybe. Then we have age structure. Okay, because we have to see all the demographic aspects of this chapter. So the topic is age structure. What this age structure represents is the number of people of different age groups. That what is the number of different age groups? Then only policies can be framed. Then only schemes can be framed. Then only anything can be possible if we know what is the age structure of it. Even if you take example of good MNCs, they always analyze the market first of all. Then only they generate some product about it. Otherwise, they cannot do it. So this is very important indicator. Age structure is very important indicator for population composition, because large size of population in the age group of 15 and 59 indicates that people are in working position. The country who's having this type of age group from 15 to 59, that country considered the good one. Can you name the country which is considered the youngest one? It is no doubt. Yes, the answer is India. So definitely we are very lucky that we have more people in working condition. So the maximum people lies in the age of 15 to 59. So that shows in maximum countries also you find that the age group is more than 60. So they are not in working condition. That is a pressure on economy itself. But greater proportion of population above 60 years represent that they are aging population. So they will definitely add pressure to economy of the countries. They need a more expenditure on this. They have to spend more on healthcare facilities. Similarly, high proportion of young population doesn't mean that they are in working so they can work. By chance, if they will not channelize, then that can be go in another way also. So, what does this high proportion of young population means? That we have a high birth rate and population is basically youthful. That may be the reason, right? Next topic in your book is age sex pyramid. When age and sex structure of population, what does it mean? How many number of females and number of males in different age group. मतलब कितनी औरतें किस एज ग्रुप में हैं, कितने मेल्स कितनी एज ग्रुप में हैं. So that's called age sex pyramid, right? So here we come to know what is in same diagram we come across age group also and we come across with gender also. Basically population pyramid is used to show different age structure of a population. Basically the shape of population pyramid reflects what it reflects again. It reflects characteristic of the population. आपके लोग किस एज ग्रुप के हैं तो उनका क्या करेक्टर होगा. यंग पीपल हैव डिफरेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक, ओल्ड पीपल हैविंग डिफरेंट एज ग्रुप, राइट. तो लेफ्ट साइड ऑफ द पिरामिड shows percentage of males and the right side of pyramid shows uh, female, right, women, percentage of women in each group. So this way we explain pyramid. So basically we know what this age group pyramid, right. Now we'll take on expanding population. So if you see some countries like age sex group pyramid of Nigeria. Nigeria is a country in Africa, right. It is in Africa. Hmm? And the shape of pyramid is triangular, right. It has a wide base. It's a quite big base, right. It has a big base and basically the age sex pyramid of Nigeria reflects less developed countries, right. So means the large population basically in a lower age group basically. Why? Uh, why? Because high birth rate is there, very common. But if you construct the pyramid of Bangladesh and Mexico, Bangladesh is in Asia and Mexico is in North America, right? Here you find different type of pyramid is there. And if you see Australia's uh, age sex pyramid, it's just like a bell shape, right? Bell shape, because Australia is a developed country, so definitely structure of pyramid will be different from a developing country or less developed countries. It basically tapers down at the top, and it shows birth and death rates are almost equal. जितने birth rate होते हैं उतने ही death rate होता है, almost equal, leading to near constant population. But these are very few example, or few countries are in the world where we find this type of things. Especially it happens in developed countries. Okay, but some countries are there. We find declining population, like Japan, which is in Asia. It has a narrow base. इसका base बहुत छोटा है, and taper, it showing tapering at the upper part. That shows birth rate is less, death rates are more, right? तो population growth basically in developed countries is, अगर हम growth देखें, population growth देखें developed countries में, basically it is zero or negative. ना तो population बढ़ती है ना घटती है, almost it remains constant. Okay, so aging population. Now the topic is aging population. What does this aging population stands for? Take on this. Population aging basically is a process which share older population. तो aging का मतलब भी होता है age होना. तो definitely we are talking about older population, more share of older people. They are more in population, proportionally larger. Why it can be the reason? What can be the reasons for this? Because more health facilities will be there, and government is spending good expenditure on it. But this is a new phenomenon of 20th century where we find aging population is more, right? Especially in developed countries it happens, where we find a higher age group has increased, especially if you take Italy, Spain. Here aging population is more increased. Why? Because of life expectancy has been increased. Earlier life expectancy can be 60, now it is 72 somewhere, right? So what happens exactly? Reduction in birth rate में reduction हो गया, और death rate में भी कमी होगी, right? So that's the reason why population has been declined. Okay, now we'll take on a very important thing occupation wise. We will see the composition, that's the rural urban composition. कितने लोग आपके rural area में रहते हैं, कितने लोग urban रहते हैं. So division of population in rural and urban is basically based on the residence, where their residence is, कहाँ पे उनका घर है, ये residence कहाँ पे है उनका, right? So that's very very important. Okay, so residence is very important. So division is necessary because why? How we can differentiate between rural and urban? Basically on their lifestyles. आप रूरल एरिया के लोगों को और अर्बन लोगों को डिफरेंशिएट कर सकते हैं बेस्ड ऑन देयर लाइफस्टाइल, बिकॉज द लाइफस्टाइल इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम वन अनदर. ठीक है, और उनका रहने का स्टाइल, लिवलीहुड कैसा है उनका, सोशल कंडीशन कैसी है उनकी, राइट? सो वी कैन इजीली डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन रूरल पॉपुलेशन एंड अर्बन पॉपुलेशन. Then we have age, sex, occupation, structure. This is very important. So density of population and level of population vary. कौन सा एज ग्रुप रूरल में रहेगा, कौन सा लोग शहर में रहेंगे, दैट इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, राइट, टू डिफरेंशिएट अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट. बट वी हैव अ क्राइटेरिया फॉर डिफरेंशिएटिंग रूरल एंड अर्बन पॉपुलेशन, राइट. It varies from country to country. It cannot be, it's unevenly distributed type thing. We don't have a clear cut things on that. Basically in rural areas, whenever we are calling any settlement as a rural settlement, maximum people are engaged in primary sector. अगर आप भारत में देखेंगे तो आप अगर देखेंगे कि रूरल एरिया में कौन लोगों का ऑक्यूपेशन क्या होता है, तो दे आर एंगेज इन प्राइमरी सेक्टर. तो व्हेन एवर आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट प्राइमरी सेक्टर, मस्ट बी आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट प्राइमरी सेक्टर मीन्स व्हाट डज दिस प्राइमरी सेक्टर मीन्स. प्राइमरी सेक्टर का कौन से ऑक्यूपेशन होने चाहिए इसमें? एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट है ना, माइनर्स ये सारे होने चाहिए इसमें. सो इंडिया में मैक्सिमम लोग जो रूरल एरिया में रहते हैं, दे आर बिजी इन प्राइमरी एक्टिविटीज. अर्बन एरियाज, इफ यू सी अर्बन एरियाज, तो urban areas में mainly majority of people are working population, right? Maximum people who are living in urban areas, they go for some offices, they are engaged in non-primary activities. They must be involving themselves in service sector or in secondary sector. Okay. Then we have rural and urban differences in sex ratio also. Canada, if you take Canada and West European countries, whenever I'm talking West European countries, I'm talking about Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark. These are the countries. Okay. We find that is opposition to Africa and Asian countries. So African and Asian countries are representing basically developing countries, and Canada, Western European countries are developed countries, right? We find rural and urban differences is something else. In Western countries, if you see developed countries, males outnumber females in rural area. Males are more in rural areas as compared to females in especially Western countries. But uh, but in countries like Nepal, Pakistan, and India, the case is reverse, where females are more in rural areas as compared to males. Why? Isn't because they माइग्रेट कर जाते हैं ना जॉब्स के लिए शहरों में चले जाते हैं हम लोग ठीक है सो दैट मे बी द रीज़न सो एक्सेस ऑफ फीमेल्स इन अर्बन एरियाज ऑफ यूएसए कनाडा एंड यूरोप is a result of more females are there in rural areas okay फार्मिंग इन डेवलप कंट्रीज बेसिकली हमारे इंडिया में अगर डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज और डेवलप कंट्री की फार्मिंग देयर इज अ डिफरेंस राइट farming in developed countries they are highly mechanized they use more and more machinery for that right and whenever we are practicing agriculture or something like that where we need more physical strength so mainly male population is more in it okay that may be the reason why males outnumber females in rural area and developed countries but if you take example of Asian countries अगर हम लोग एशियन कंट्रीज का एग्जांपल लेते हैं तो वी विल फाइंड दैट so if you see countries like India why females are more in rural area I'm explaining that female participation is more in farming sector in developing countries like India right females बहुत ज़्यादा काम करती हैं खेतों पर ठीक है रूरल एरियाज में that's the reason why females outnumber males especially in rural areas especially in India Asian countries right and other reasons are also there why females are more in rural area and developing countries as compared to males the reason is first of all if male migrate from village to urban areas क्यों नहीं अब फीमेल्स को लेके जाते द रीज़न इज़ वेरी क्लियर बिकॉज शॉर्टेज ऑफ हाउसिंग big cities are there but there is a problem of shortage of houses then high cost of living आपका रहना बहुत कॉस्टली है then less job opportunities right then security is also less in cities as compared to rural areas right and that's the reason why it discouraging women to migrate from rural to urban areas the why women are more in number in rural areas as compared to urban areas then we'll take on literacy okay then we'll take on literacy proportion of literate population of a country basically what it indicates social economic development of a country right it means if more educated a person can be the standard of living will be good social status of that person will be good then education facilities will be more and policies are oriented towards that way um, if you see economic development of some countries good and some countries are not showing good economic development why reason is only literacy literacy is a very important reason for that right what that literacy rate denotes literacy rate कहते किसको हैं So this is the definition: percentage of population above 7 years of age who is able to read, write, and have the ability to do some arithmetic calculation, simple arithmetic calculation. तो लिटरेसी रेट कहते हैं किसको? अब इंडिया में अगर डिफाइन करना है आपको, लिटरेसी रेट किसको डिफाइन कैसे करोगे आप? जो 7 ईयर्स अबव है, जो लिख सकता है, जो पढ़ सकता है, और उसमें थोड़ी सी समझ है अर्थमेटिक की कैलकुलेशन करने के लिए, तो हम उसको बोलेंगे लिटरेट पर्सन, राइट? देयर इज नो नीड फॉर एनी डिग्री फॉर दैट. क्लियर? And to make it very clear, you cannot call that person is postgraduate, then only he can be called literate, right? Now we'll take an occupation structure. तो वर्किंग पॉपुलेशन मैंने आपको बोला था, जो वर्किंग एज ग्रुप होता है वो 15 से 59 के बीच में होता है. दैट ऑलरेडी आई एक्सप्लेन यू, राइट? एंड इफ द पर्सन इज इन दैट एज ग्रुप, ही कैन टेक इन वेरियस ऑक्यूपेशंस, राइट? वो एग्रीकल्चर में भी काम कर सकता है, वो फॉरेस्ट्री का काम भी कर सकता है. दिस ऑल एक्टिविटीज आर बेसिकली प्राइमरी सेक्टर ओरिएंटेड, राइट? फिशिंग आल्सो दे कैन डू. नाउ वी कम बैक टू सेकेंडरी सेक्टर, राइट? मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में भी काम कर सकता है. 15 to 59 एज ग्रुप की बात बता रहा हूँ मैं, 15 से 59 के बीच की बात कर रहा हूँ, राइट? So if a person is working, they can practice this type of activities, right? He can work in commercial transport services, service and communication, and other unclassified type of services he can practice. Then we have agriculture, forestry, fishing, mining. They are called primary activities. उनको हम प्राइमरी एक्टिविटीज़ का नाम देते हैं. दिस ऑल आर एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ प्राइमरी एक्टिविटीज. अगेन आई एम नेमिंग इट. वन इज एग्रीकल्चर, वन इज फॉरेस्ट्री, वन इज फिशिंग, वन इज माइनिंग. दे ऑल कैन बी क्लासिफाइड एज ए प्राइमरी एक्टिविटीज. नाउ वी कम बैक टू सेकेंडरी एक्टिविटीज. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, किसी चीज़ रॉ मटेरियल को मैन्युफैक्चर करना, राइट? सो दैट कम्स अंडर secondary activities. So what type of activities and what type of occupation comes under it? Secondary activities. One is transport, one is communication and other services. Third sector is service sector. इसको हम सर्विस सेक्टर और टर्शरी सेक्टर भी बोलते हैं, ठीक है? And one more sector has been the part of the sectors. Earlier it was not a part. That is called quaternary activities. What type of activities are carried out in these quaternary activities? Job which are related to research and developing ideas. So this is a new sector which has been joined, right? Before doing anything we have to go for research, right? We have to develop some ideas. That's very, very important, right? So this has been added now. Earlier it was not there. So mainly if you see, maximum people occupation comes under in these four sectors, okay? So working population engaged in these four sectors, okay? And this is a good indicator level of economic development. If you are practicing in these four sectors, so definitely your nation can be developed according to that. If you see developed countries and developing countries, which type of occupation they are doing? Developed economies, basically if you see developed economies, then you see they have more industries, they have a good infrastructure where they can accommodate more and more workers, right? So mainly they are engaging themselves in secondary, tertiary and quaternary activities. Then only your country can be called developed economies. Whenever you have to define developed economy, you will tell so many industries are there, good infrastructure is there. Good infrastructure can accommodate what? More workers, right? Then we have secondary, tertiary and quaternary activity. But if the economy is still in primitive stage, अगर वही पुराने स्टाइल से हमारी लोग पुराने प्रिमिटिव स्टेजेस पे हैं, तब तो हम क्या बोल सकते हैं कि लोग किस ऑक्यूपेशन में लगे होंगे? तो पीपल मस्ट बी एंगेज इन प्राइमरी एक्टिविटीज. एंड वर्ल्ड में अगर हम लोग देखें तो इट शोज दैट दिस शोज हायर स्टेटस. स्टिल पीपल आर एंगेज्ड देमसेल्फ इन एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज. अभी भी मिनरल्स को निकालने का काम करते हैं. So maximum this type of occupation they are practicing, especially in developing countries, right? So
subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.